What some in the UK are referring to as civil unrest is increasingly resembling civil war. What started as anticipated anger regarding complimentary accommodations for illegal immigrants rapidly intensified when those desiring a safe island were instructed by their government to remain silent or face imprisonment. However, the government was unprepared for the fact that numerous individuals in England do not perceive this as a danger.
Barriers are gone. Bit of argy-bargy, cat and mouse.
Thousands of protesters have taken to the streets across the UK, angry over the number of asylum seekers being housed in hotels. A whopping 32,000 people. That's an increase of 8% since last year.
Local people, by and large, do not want these hotels in their towns, in their place, and nor do I.
He's an absolute total hypocrite. He has had this in his power to stop this. Look what happened when President Trump came into office. At the southern border, actually no illegal crossings.
There are so many police on our backs right now. Technically, you have no legal rights to protest, but we don't care. You don't deport, this is what you get.
But if you want to be a sovereign nation, you must control your borders. I would have thought this issue was the number one issue behind Britain leaving the EU, the whole Brexit debate going back many years now. Yet governments, especially left-wing governments, can't bring themselves to be strong enough to control their borders.
These aren't coming through the legal channels, and the government and that know that. Send them straight back. And I don't care if they lock me up for saying that.
One of the most challenging jobs currently is that of a British police officer who is now tasked with imprisoning their fellow citizens. What remains unaddressed in the discussions surrounding these riots is the conflict between police in yellow vests and individuals expressing dissenting opinions against the government. This is a scenario that no modern nation, which professes to uphold free speech, should impose on its populace. With hundreds being incarcerated weekly for offenses as trivial as a retweet, many protesters against mass illegal immigration are beginning to question the viability of their social structure, a structure that has determined that thought crimes are more severe than physical offenses. And indeed, they are. However, this is only true if you are a government intent on enforcing unpopular policies upon your entire population. These policies include repurposing hotels and even nursing homes into permanent accommodations for illegal immigrants who are portrayed as impoverished individuals merely seeking a better life. They have journeyed halfway across the globe, passing through numerous sympathetic European nations, and have chosen to continue to the UK, where the benefits offered are seemingly far superior to the experience of sleeping on the streets in France. This leads us to the underlying reason why the protests in the UK show no signs of resolution. You have a government that has chosen to ignore its own citizens. Individuals are being imprisoned simply for displaying their national flag, which certainly suggests that the government is favoring illegal immigrants over its own lawful residents. This is an utterly absurd scenario that could only occur in a place where fundamental rights, such as those outlined in the U.S. Bill of Rights, are absent. Essentially, the government here has the power to enact any law it desires at any moment, even if it transforms the nation into a prison for thought crimes the very next day, should you express an opinion in this manner.
But it looks like the police are trying to cause a scene. Look at that! Look what they're doing! Look what the police are doing! What are they doing? What are the police doing here?
This is an individual who was incarcerated for displaying their national flag within their own nation. It required the efforts of 5 police officers to subdue this person. But what could possibly be the reason for their outrage?
Hello, miss.
Excuse me. Can
Yeah,
you leave
don't
the building?
panic.
No. The police are
Please
on
don't
route.
panic.
The police are en route. Please leave. Out of the building, please.
Okay, you know you can't touch me, didn't you?
I'm asking you to leave kindly.
Yeah.
Out of the
Where's all
building,
this
please.
suitcase come from?
That's irrelevant. No comment. Out of the building.
This is a nursing home that has been converted into a shelter for undocumented immigrants, where all residents receive essential life necessities at no cost. It appears that England is filled with similar establishments that seem to emerge daily, which is understandable given that no measures are being taken to halt the influx of inflatable boats crossing the English Channel from France. Each of these individuals will require accommodation. Heaven forbid they are turned away and returned to France for not entering legally. Oh no, that is not the case. However, the government's response to these protests may be even more problematic than the current situation.
British taxpayers paying for this. And the only thing that is worse than these hotels, Gabriella, is that the government's new policy is called the scatter policy, which is to approach landlords and to spread the migrants out amongst different houses so that obviously that you deplete the center of concentration of them so that in other words, is less attractive or less conducive.
The government's intention appears to be this. They believe that by utilizing the large shelters, which are essentially repurposed hotels and nursing homes, they can address the housing of individuals. These locations are prominent and easily identifiable, making them targets for protests. With residents in one area and the broader community in another, the idea is to eliminate the hotel and encourage everyone to coexist in one space. The plan is to integrate all individuals within the country. This, they believe, will resolve the protests. This is their proposed solution. It resembles a concept that someone with a college degree, earning millions, might devise. They seem to assume that the discontent regarding illegal immigration stems from the fact that these individuals are not immediate neighbors. In response, the government is now incentivizing private landlords with 5 years of guaranteed rent to accommodate illegal immigrants in their properties, a strategy they think will tackle the issue of illegal immigration without addressing the ongoing influx of illegal crossings from France by simply turning people away. However, there is another perspective to consider. If an unlimited number of individuals are provided with guaranteed rent for the next 5 years, what impact do you think this will have on rental prices in the UK during that period? The availability of apartments will diminish, and those who must pay for their own housing will also be contributing to someone else's rent. Consequently, they may soon find themselves unable to afford their own living arrangements, won't they?
Obama, and I will say this, is a complete traitor. He should not be ruling this country. He's got no time for the true British people, and I don't care if they lock me up for saying that. I've worked my off in this country, and these come here and they get this. These aren't coming through the legal channels, and the government and that know that. Send them straight back.
People aren't happy about paying taxes, and the taxes have gone up.
Isn't it intriguing to consider this? The advocates for open borders? These individuals are the same ones who incessantly promote sustainability. All we hear from them is, we need a sustainable cost of living. We need sustainable this, sustainable that. However, allowing an unlimited influx of people into your country for an indefinite duration is anything but sustainable. That approach is not viable. It simply won't succeed. This society is on a path to failure. Yet, this situation sheds light on another aspect of the migration crisis in the United Kingdom. Why are the individuals being permitted entry into their country? Why do they require accommodation for 5 years? Why not just for 5 weeks? What hinders people from assimilating into their society, securing employment, and managing their own needs? This is the significant deception in the UK and in America. Everyone has been led to believe that mass migration is beneficial and would enhance our nations. We were assured that no one would need housing for an extended period, and that all of this was merely temporary. But this issue transcends whether someone resides in a hotel or is your immediate neighbor. No, that's a misguided perspective. They are overlooking the core issue. What's astonishing is the extent to which the UK is willing to suppress dissenting opinions. This is remarkably extreme because one might think, oh, North Korea suppresses dissenting views. Yet in the UK, we are also stifling opposing perspectives. A contemporary, internet-connected nation that communicates in English and possesses surveillance capabilities. This is why there is such a strong reaction.
There's criminal penalties, and I think in 2023, in the United Kingdom, there were 12,183 arrests for offensive posts. 12,000 people arrested for things they posted online that some trusted flagger approved by the government, the same government that says what's being said at the Democrat National Committee, we need to take back our country, is hate speech. That's a scary scenario. Is that right?
Yeah, they're massive statistics. And I mean, some of it comes under non-crime hate incidents. So you've said something on social media, someone's taken objection, and you get the knock at the door from the police sort of warning you that if you do this again, something may happen. And this has now been broadened out. I mean, Mr. Price made the point, what is hate speech? How do you define hate speech? And that's the problem, isn't it, with all of these laws, that we finish up in a position where local police forces, etc., have to choose their own interpretations.
The issue at hand is that if hate speech can encompass anything, then free speech ceases to exist. Do you grasp that? This is precisely why we are witnessing a surge in arrests. Those who determine what constitutes hate speech have altered their definitions. The criteria have shifted. Consequently, individuals are being incarcerated for displaying their national flag. However, what is genuinely remarkable is the sheer volume of protests that are predominantly peaceful, which have entirely dominated regions in the UK where such occurrences have never been seen before.
This is wild. Crazy. People riding their bikes? This is like a shopping center. Wild.
There's going to be a lot of police in a minute.
You see the police back there watching.
There are so many police on our backs right now. And I imagine why, because for a very long time, Canary Wharf has been privatised. Technically, you have no legal rights to protest, but we don't care. You don't deport, this is what you get. The hotel is kind of an epicenter.
Do you know what's intriguing about this protest? Take a look behind him. Do you notice any shattered windows? Do you observe any looting or pillaging reminiscent of Los Angeles, California, occurring in these stores? No, just look. No one who marched through this area caused any damage along the route. They did not leave behind a trail of destruction. There isn't even any litter. They're not even throwing trash on the ground. Thus, it's a relatively peaceful protest. This represents civil disobedience. Now, naturally, if these individuals are violating laws and are instructed to disperse, they should do so peacefully. Let's keep it that way. The footage does not depict any mass arrests taking place here. However, the entire situation regarding free speech in the UK is truly alarming. And you know what? If you're an American visiting the UK and your social media posts are not well received, you could face consequences. They recently arrested an Irish comedian who isn't even British. He was apprehended and taken away by police at the airport. Can you believe that?
The hearing today is perfect because the head of the Metropolitan Police who arrested Graham Linehan at Heathrow Airport, he's thrown the ball back now to the British Home Secretary and the government to say, please tell us, what is this law intended? What are we supposed as the police to do?
Yeah, they don't even know.
I think we're going to have a much more rapid debate about this. But my worry is it may get worse, if I may quickly. Because the Labour government now are intending to pass a law that has a definition of Islamophobia. They're intending to put that into law. And that effectively will mean that criticism of a religion, mocking of a religion, would become an offence. And that's totally against everything. Because, we've always given the Pope a hard time. We've always given the Archbishop of Canterbury a hard time. So we're finishing up kind of with two-tier law. And two-tier.
Indeed, Jeremy Clarkson is completely correct. Hold on. They do sound quite similar, don't they? I hope that when the time comes, people will support Mr., as he appears to have some proposals that could potentially shift the current situation. However, the police seem uncertain about their course of action. They are out there detaining their own citizens. They struggle to understand the laws they are required to enforce, as the interpretation of laws related to speech and thought is always subject to varying interpretations. Moreover, these interpretations can frequently shift based on who is in power. Yet, perhaps the most significant concern in all of this is that it appears the United Kingdom is doing more to attract individuals to enter their country unlawfully than any other nation. This is yet another facet of the protest that is not receiving much attention.
Very simple. Tomorrow, stop all the benefits. It's this pull factor. They're coming all the way from Somalia. Why don't they stop in France? Why don't they stop in Germany? Why don't they stop in Italy and other countries? They're making it the whole way to the UK because of the pull factor of the amount of benefits that are provided to them. These 4-star hotels, free meals, video games, and a cell phone given to them.
Wow.
Yeah,
No warfare.
Speaking of those benefits, tech billionaire Elon Musk has blasted the UK government in a social media rant after it was revealed that asylum seekers were given new £300,000 homes. Now, this decision to
Consider this. If you inform individuals that they can arrive in your country tomorrow without the risk of being sent back, imprisoned, or deported, and that they will receive complimentary food, free phones, and the opportunity to reside in a home worth £300,000 while enjoying video games all day, it's reasonable to assume that if Mexico made a similar announcement, a significant portion of California would attempt to immigrate illegally to Mexico the very next day. This reasoning is entirely logical. This situation is not rooted in bigotry or prejudice against individuals based on their origin. In the UK, the politicians seem intent on silencing any discussion about this matter, which is why they are imprisoning their own citizens. What are your thoughts on this issue? See you again in next video.